we're slowly starting to find out, even though we already knew, that Rotten Tomatoes is rotten because WB sabotaged their own product when they were doing the Snyderverse, and they had Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and of course when we got Justice League, right? The drama doesn't stop at this company, and slowly everything is being exposed of how dirty this company is. Make sure to hit the subscribe. I really appreciate everybody. We're at 700. Let's try to get to 1,000 so we can do live streams and all that good stuff. All right, so look, what's funny and at the same time it's mind-boggling is, if WB didn't like what Zack was doing with Man of Steel, they should have just stopped right there. But what happened? No, they continued. What happened? They continued. They kept going with something that even themselves, WB, said that they didn't like it. But it's the studio's fault. Why? Because remember, when Man of Steel came out, WB really wasn't supporting it, and they weren't really marketing it. Remember, we had just got off from the Dark Knight trilogy, and everybody was still with that whole Christian Bale, and they thought that he was going to be the Batman that was going to continue against in the universe of Man of Steel, which it would have been cool. But I'm glad that we actually got Ben Affleck, because that right there was like the best Batman that we've gotten in live actions. And it's crazy because if WB didn't like Man of Steel, then why are you going to continue and do Batman vs Superman? If you see that a product is not good, you're going to automatically stop it and just say, you know what, let's not even waste any more time, energy, or anything into it. But what did they do? Moved into Batman vs Superman, which they rushed, because they should have done, of course, Man of Steel. Then we should have got Ben Affleck's Batman. Then do Man of Steel 2, Ben Affleck, Batman 2. Build your trilogy. Man of Steel 3, Batman, also the same thing with the third film, and then do Batman vs Superman. But again, DC was just too focused, on trying to be Marvel, because at the time we already had phase 1 with Iron Man and I think Captain America, and of course you had Civil War coming out. And it's also interesting because Marvel copied also DC, because remember, we were supposed to have Captain America 2, but then they decided to go with Captain America versus Iron Man Civil War, and that's what the offspring that came off of that. But it's just crazy how WB has gold that they're sitting on. They're sitting on diamonds and gold and pearls and all this stuff, rubies, but they refuse to restore Snyderverse and continue. And they know that the fan demand is there, but they don't want to, because WB is so stubborn, because they know that they screwed up and they shot themselves in the foot. Because look at that, when we got Batman vs Superman, compared to the Ultimate Cut, which is better? The Ultimate Cut. You should have just released the R-rated version at the time. And then the same thing with Justice League. They should have just took feedback from fans and say, hey, this is gonna be bad. That's not the vision that Zack gave us. And look at how long it took years for us to fight. 5 years, so we can actually get the real deal, Zack Snyder's Justice League. That cut that he wanted to give us. All right, and there's a big difference. What happened with David Ayer? The same thing. We have right now, what did we get? The comedy of Suicide Squad. But that wasn't David Ayer's cut. We're still fighting for release the Ayer cut, because the Suicide Squad that we got from David Ayer, that's not the final cut that his vision was supposed to be. There's a whole bunch of leaks that it was a different version. And the same thing, we're going to keep on fighting for that, And what did WB do? Again, they got in the way and said, no, let's give the fans what we think is best, when they gave us what we do not want. All they have to do is just release the Ayer cut, and the same thing. But again, WB so stubborn, they don't want to do it because they know the backlash that's coming from it, because they know that they messed up. They don't want to admit it, and they don't want to say, hey, look, we messed up, we should have listened to the fans, and we should have continued with it, And we're at the point of age that WB has rebooted so many times that it's just played out. Honestly, it's just boring. That's why there's a fatigue, because people just don't believe in WB anymore. And, it just makes DC look horrible, because it's like, come on, man, you guys can't even start your own phase 1, And then look at Marvel, where it's at. Phase 5, I think, entering 6. I don't even know where it's at now, because to me, everything ended at Endgame. And, it's just complete ridiculous on WB's part. All they have to do is just yo, listen to your fans, you know, give the fans what they want, and you'll start seeing all the money coming in. You know, that's what's awesome about Netflix, because Netflix is allowing Zack Snyder to do Rebel Moon and have fun and do what you want to do. And look at what we're getting, part 1 and part 2 back to back. It could have been like that with Justice League, but as always, the studio getting in the way. WB, you're a mess. You're just DC, a drama company. What are your thoughts? Make sure to hit the subscribe. I really appreciate everybody. And as always, until next time.